They promised loyalty, they swore brotherhood, and then they did the unthinkable. The Elegance just pulled off one of the most devastating, cold-blooded betrayals in TNA Impact history. And if you think you've seen it all in professional wrestling, what happened to Hartwell will make your blood boil. This wasn't just a turn, this was calculated destruction. And the worst part, we should have seen it coming. Let me take you back to where this nightmare began, because the Elegance didn't just wake up one day and decide to end Hartwell's career. No, this was months in the making, hidden behind handshakes and smiles that now feel like daggers to the heart. Hartwell believed in them, the fans believed in them. We all got played. The Elegance, consisting of the sophisticated and ruthless duo who've been climbing TNA's ranks with surgical precision, positioned themselves as the epitome of class in a world of chaos. They spoke about honor, about elevating the business, about bringing prestige back to professional wrestling. And Hartwell was their perfect partner, the missing piece to their puzzle, or so we thought. Together, they demolished teams left and right. The chemistry was undeniable. The trust seemed unbreakable. But here's what nobody wanted to admit. The signs were always there. Every time Hartwell took the pin, the Elegance's frustration grew just a little more visible. Every time Hartwell celebrated a victory, their smiles seemed just a fraction less genuine. And in those backstage segments we all brushed off as character development, they were planting seeds of resentment that would bloom into the most vicious assault we've witnessed this year. The ambush happened when Hartwell least expected it, which is exactly what makes it so infuriating. After a grueling match where Hartwell gave everything, left it all in that ring, bleeding and battered but victorious, the Elegance approached with what looked like congratulations. The arena was electric, fans were chanting. This was supposed to be a moment of triumph. Instead, it became a massacre. The first strike came from behind, a clubbing blow that sent Hartwell crashing face first into the mat. Before anyone could process what was happening, the Elegance unleashed absolute hell. Steel chairs, the ring steps, every weapon they could find became an instrument of betrayal. And the look on their faces, pure satisfaction. This wasn't heat-of-the-moment rage. This was premeditated hatred finally being unleashed. Here's a question for you. What was the most shocking betrayal you've ever witnessed in wrestling? Drop your answer in the comments because I need to know if anything compares to this level of treachery. The commentary team was screaming. Officials rushed to the ring, but the Elegance fought them off like men possessed. They weren't finished with their message. They grabbed a microphone, and what they said next sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling world. They called Hartwell dead weight. They said carrying Hartwell to victories had been exhausting, degrading, beneath their caliber. Every word was designed to cut deeper than any physical blow ever could. But the disrespect didn't stop there. The Elegance revealed that this plan had been in motion since day one. Every handshake, every tag, every moment of supposed camaraderie was a lie. They admitted to purposely setting Hartwell up for failure in matches, to sabotaging opportunities, to whispering poison in management's ears about Hartwell's capabilities. This wasn't just ending a partnership. This was destroying a person's entire reputation and legacy. The TNA locker room emptied, trying to restore order, but the damage was catastrophic. Hartwell was left motionless in the center of the ring, a broken heap of what was once one of Impact's most promising stars. Medical staff surrounded the scene. The broadcast went to commercial with an image that will haunt TNA fans forever. Hartwell's hand reaching up, grasping for nothing, as the Elegance stood on the ramp, suit still immaculate, not a hair out of place, looking down at the destruction they caused with aristocratic indifference. Social media exploded immediately. Fans were divided, angry, demanding answers. Some claimed they always knew the Elegance couldn't be trusted. Others felt genuinely betrayed alongside Hartwell. The hashtags trended worldwide within minutes. This wasn't just wrestling storyline drama. This felt personal to everyone who had invested emotionally in this alliance. Now here's where things get even more complicated and infuriating. In the aftermath, the Elegance didn't hide. They didn't run from the consequences. Instead, they doubled down with interviews that made their actions seem almost justified in their twisted minds. They spoke about evolution, about cutting off dead weight to reach the summit. They framed Hartwell as an anchor dragging down their greatness, as someone who benefited from their brilliance without contributing equal value. The audacity is staggering. Hartwell took bumps for them. Hartwell absorbed punishment in matches to protect them. Hartwell made them look good when they were still finding their footing in TNA. And this is the gratitude? This is the respect they show? Quick question for the comments section. Do you think the Elegance's betrayal was justified from a competitive standpoint, or was this purely evil? Let me know your thoughts, because this debate is tearing the wrestling community apart. What makes this situation even more maddening is the TNA management's response, or rather their lack thereof. Where are the suspensions? Where are the consequences? The Elegance attacked someone after a match, used weapons, caused what could be career-ending injuries, and they're still walking around like nothing happened. They're still getting television time. They're still being featured prominently, while Hartwell recovers from physical and psychological trauma. This sends a dangerous message. It tells every wrestler in that locker room that loyalty means nothing. It tells fans that our emotional investment is worthless because creative decisions will always prioritize shock value over storytelling integrity. It tells Hartwell that years of dedication, of building trust, of being a team player means absolutely nothing when someone decides you're no longer useful. The wrestling business has always been cutthroat. We know this. Betrayals are part of the storytelling fabric that makes this industry compelling. But there are levels to this, and the Elegance crossed every single line. They didn't just turn heel. They attempted to end someone's career in the most humiliating way possible. They didn't just cut ties. They burned every bridge while laughing at the flames. Hartwell's response, when finally able to speak, was heartbreaking. The pain in those words, the disbelief, the sense of being fundamentally violated by people who were supposed to be brothers in arms. It resonated with anyone who's ever been stabbed in the back by someone they trusted. Hartwell didn't call for immediate revenge. Instead, there was a quiet promise that when the time comes, when the body heals and the mind refocuses, the Elegance will regret the day they decided betrayal was their path to glory. And that's the story TNA needs to tell. Not some quick payback match where everything gets resolved in 15 minutes. This needs to be a slow burn of retribution. Hartwell needs to come back changed, hardened, with a singular focus on making the Elegance pay for every single moment of that ambush. The fans are invested now. The anger is real. The desire to see justice served is overwhelming. Here's another question. How should Hartwell get revenge on the Elegance? Should it be a brutal street fight, a career versus career match, or something even more personal? Share your booking ideas in the comments. The Elegance, for their part, seem to be thriving in their villainy. They've embraced the hatred, wearing it like their expensive suits, custom-tailored and perfectly fitted. They're cutting promos that make your skin crawl with their smug superiority. They're winning matches with tactics that border on illegal, but are just clever enough to avoid disqualification. They're everything we love to hate in professional wrestling, which is probably the point. But here's what concerns me about this entire situation. What if TNA drops the ball? What if this incredible heat, this genuine emotional investment from the fan base, gets wasted on poor booking decisions down the line? What if Hartwell's comeback isn't given the time and attention it deserves? What if the Elegance moves on to another feud before this story reaches its proper conclusion? Wrestling history is littered with betrayal angles that started hot and fizzled out disappointingly. The Elegance ambush on Hartwell has the potential to be a defining storyline for TNA Impact, the kind of programming that brings lapsed fans back and creates new ones, but only if it's handled with the care and respect it demands.
The beauty of this betrayal, if we can call something so vicious beautiful, is that it feels real. The emotions aren't forced. The reactions aren't scripted into oblivion. When you watch the footage, you see genuine shock, genuine pain, genuine rage. That's the magic of professional wrestling when it's done right, when the performers commit so fully that the line between character and reality blurs just enough to make us forget we're watching a predetermined outcome. So where do we go from here? The Elegance are established as the most hated act in TNA. Hartwell is positioned as the ultimate sympathetic figure. The collision course is set. But the journey between now and that eventual confrontation is where TNA will either capitalize on this momentum or squander it completely. What would you do if you were in Hartwell's position? How would you handle the betrayal, the physical recovery, the mental anguish? Drop your thoughts below, because I'm genuinely curious how the TNA faithful would book this going forward. The Elegance double cross represents